age, time, experience. Like there are some things in life you don't hack, that you don't shortcut, you don't try to skip.
Welcome to the Campfire Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond Dixon. I'm here with my co-host, Joshua Jacko. Say what's up, Josh.
What up, what up, what up?
I'm here with the other co-host, Miss Heather Stafford. Say what's up, Heather.
Hey, y'all.
And today we are going to dive into an impromptu episode. Today's episode, Josh is back. He's in the middle of an awesome challenge to secure the bag challenge. And he's getting some great feedback. He's starting to make some strides. And we're going to dive into some very specific and granular details on securing the bag in this particular situation. You guys ready to play or what?
Fuck yeah.
Let's go. Run it. Collect the bag. All right, bro. So Josh, how are you, man?
What's up, buddy?
Well, I was actually just soaking all that in. So that was thank you for sharing that, Heather. That spoke directly to me right now. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Glad to help. I aim to please.
Do you aim to please?
I aim to please.
I'm doing well, man. I'm keeping a lot more lighter nowadays. Joking around. Yo, I didn't tell you about this, but 2 days ago, we just moved into this new spot, and there was the first night there was this like crazy fiesta, bro, outside, bro. Like I'm talking about like college party on times 10. Like it was like a club outside, like no joke, open air club, right? And it was for like 6 or 7 hours. And for the first time in my life, like I felt in my heart, I wanted to choose violence. I was like, I'm about to go roll up. I'm about to go roll up. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go to bed. Right? It was crazy.
Doesn't realize he's getting old.
Yeah, I was like a grandpa.
Don't tell him. Nobody tell him, because if we tell him, then he's gonna flip out. But Desmond's getting old.
Nah, it was wild though. I think Heather would have lost her shit too. I think you would have lost it too, Josh. I think you might would have went over and tackled somebody or something. You feel me? Like it was bad, bro. It was one of those like, it was like unbelievable. It was unbelievably loud, unbelievably for a long period of time. Like
I'm slightly concerned that you didn't lose your shit.
Oh man, I went downstairs to the security guard. I got dressed and everything, bro, in the middle of the night. And I went down and I wanted to beat him up. Like, what you gonna do something about this, bro? You gonna do something about this? Like, I was so mad I couldn't even look at him in the eye. It was at that point.
Wow.
I had to put the maxes on to go to bed. It was great.
All over something that had you been present, like, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, you would have absolutely known about it. But it's something that affects travelers and affects digital nomads. And yet, unfortunately, you absolutely have zero control over and will drive you insane should you let it.
I'll take that to the grave. I learned a lesson, though.
Good.
Book another hotel for the night.
Just go sleep somewhere else.
Next time. Yeah. That's how I'm going to solve it. I'm not going to take a chance again. As soon as I hear it at midnight or 11 a.m. or 11 p.m., I'm just going to go book a hotel for a night. Just bite the bullet. That's what I learned. So Josh, man, what's up, man? What's the update with you, bro? Like we missed you in the last episode, which was viral loop. So we're just going to cover part 2 today. So kind of fill us in, man. What's up with you in the business life?
Things are going good. Had a little bit of a breakdown over the end of last week. I know I'd spoken with Heather about that. Still going into the challenge again. Today is day 2. I am doing really well. When it comes to enrollment, that's my focus for this year, is really focusing on sales and enrollment. And I've had some enrollment calls that I realized that, like, for instance, today I realized I had another one, and it went really well. I realized that my strength is like talking about strategy, but I think that talking about the strategy portion, that stuff lights me up. Like, my brain just goes. And when I'm there, it's like, I feel empowered. I feel, excited. And when it gets to the pricing, it's almost like I second guess my own value in that way. There's another coach that I had a meeting with, and long story short, everything went great. Got to the pricing, she couldn't afford it right now. It was way outside of her budget and all that. I was like, okay, cool, I get that. Here's some. I'll at least send you the recap. Here's the free game, and all the stuff that you can, if you can even get started on stuff you can get started on now. Hey, here you go. No harm, no foul. I think I got off that call. Maybe it's just the mindset. Maybe it's the conversation of the stories that I associate with not getting that deal, or not making it happen. Maybe attach myself too much to the outcome. That's what at least jumped out at me. So I'm like, man, like, I was kind of in self beat up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, dang, man, like I need a couple minutes to like decompress and just like, get my mindset back. Just because I was like, dang, like I know I had this challenge going on. I know I'm doing this, doing that. Like, I have to start making this stuff happen. So knowing that I was happy that I added value. I wasn't happy in the way that I showed up, maybe when it came down to like the pricing of it all and being able to really not stand firm, but just exude more confidence in my pricing. That my pricing is my pricing for a reason, and it's different than everybody else. I'm not trying to be like everybody else and, really going that route, because especially in the space with a lot of coaches, right? As you know, there's a lot of these third-party services that are literally pennies on the dollar that they can get access to, and make pennies on the dollar when it comes to like compared to a production company, a creative marketing agency. And just realizing that, I haven't really, there's other levels I get to grow and I get to go to when it comes to my pricing, and it comes to just standing firm on that. Because I also have another call tomorrow, and I think I'm maybe taking that same energy into the next day, or mentally going forward already, taking that into the next day. Like, man, what happens when I get to the price? What, like, how are you going to shift, and how are you going to show up in that way versus how you've been showing up, when the person didn't, agree to the pricing and all that. So I think I'm kind of formulating that in my mind right now, and just figuring out a way to grow through this feedback that I'm getting. And I think at the end of the day, just getting away from the outcome. But besides that, everything else is good. I mean, yeah, no complaints. Just really focused for this year, really dialed in, and doing my best to make this stuff happen.
Dude, sounds like you learned something that you didn't know last week. You wouldn't, right?
Josh, are you open to some live feedback?
Always. I'm never gonna say no. So you don't even have to ask at this point.
All right, 1 second. Okay, so here is a fun one. It has nothing to do with the price. Absolutely nothing. You could sell something that costs $5 or $5 million, and all of the components are the same. Now, you hit the nail on the head, like when it comes to like area of focus, when you said, maybe it's my confidence, maybe it's how I show up in it. How you show up to sell a $5 pair of sunglasses, and how you show up to sell a custom $5 million Maserati is the same. A lot of it has to do with staying in your lane, language-wise, like staying like right where you need to be and what you're talking about, being confident in the fact that you're a subject matter expert, and pair that all together with the fact that how you stand behind your product, how it executes, like simple data, like time, makes all of that fit and feel exactly as it should. Does that land? This is one of the reasons why
the time and feel.
I'm gonna. So like, this is one of the reasons why I tell, especially when like I've oscillated from coaching, multi-million dollar people to like running an incubator for startup ideas that have no money behind them. So like when you're looking at somebody, newer entrepreneurs, if you've been in business for I would say less than 7 years, I would even want to say less than 10 when it comes to how we grow. And a lot of that will always have to do with how old someone is. Like Josh, you're not young, but you're younger than most are when they start figuring this stuff out. So like age, time, experience, like there are some things in life you don't hack, that you don't shortcut, that you don't try to skip. I always tell people the reason why young people don't understand love is time. It's not what happens in love. It's not the actions, the reactions. It's not how you treat somebody. It's what do you know of love and what do you know of loss? Because the antonym to anything is literally the DNA strength behind the synonym. They always say it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Or without rain, there's no rainbows. Without the dark, there's not the light. The concept behind that is the strength in knowledge of both sides of the coin, of both outcomes of the deal, like failing and succeeding, winning and losing. We never know what winning felt like if winning wasn't a thing. So the definition of something comes with time. The guttural like commitment behind something comes with time. With anything, especially when you're, doing beta testing and market research, and like you'll get 10 times more no's during your curiosity phase, which is your first like 1 to 3 years in business. And that's 1 to 3 years sticking to a business. Like I had been in business for close to 5 years before I actually started being in business, because I jumped from independent project to independent project to independent project and called it a business. But it was really just like filling a gap, solving a problem, feeding a need. It wasn't offering a product, a service, building a brand, standing behind it, a value system, like repeating and standardizing and streamlining and growing. That's a business. Doing what somebody needs done, that's just fulfilling a contract. That's an AB. Because somebody different in the same bubble could ask you for happy birthday videos or, 25 years of memories, and that's video production too. Is it offering the same product or service? Are you marketing that? No. Is it the same outcome, getting paid to do what you're good at? Yes. But is it necessarily part of business? No, that's the mindset. That's the framework of being an independent contractor. That land?
Yeah, I'm still processing a little bit, but that lands though. That makes sense.
But I mean, a lot of business
because it takes me fucking
Yep. Play it. Does.
fucking hour. It costs that much because I don't have superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills because exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much because it takes me fucking hours. I know you think my prices are negotiable, but if you keep on questioning, I will not be so sociable. And feel free to walk away, 'cause I know just what my art is worth. So hear me when I say that it costs that much, 'cause it took me years to master. You're free to try if you think you do it faster. But it would likely turn out shit, 'cause you simply haven't practiced it. It costs that much 'cause it took me years to master. Since the dawn of art, there have been people just like you who stand along the sidelines judging everything we do. And I know that you won't be the last, but for every one of you there are 1,000 1,000 that are class. And it costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. It costs that much cause I don't have superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours.
And that is the lesson. Like, there's a reason why things cost money. There's a reason why some people in this world are charged more in the market than others do. I mean, for banana's sake, at the height of my game in design and branding, I was charging $1,200 an hour. That's still over 300% above market top right now. I've been out of that industry for 6.5 years, 7. I had a very particular skill set and I honed a very specific target. And I knew that there was a grand amount of growth in that market because there was a huge growth spurt on the front side of it. And when I got burnt out, I got the fuck out. But I charged astronomical prices for what? Because I could. Because I was specific about who I wanted to work with, what I wanted to do, what I wasn't willing to do, and the fact that I solved a problem that 95% of the industry didn't. It took me almost 8 years to get confident in that offer. And I only sold it for like, I'm going to say like 45 months, maybe. Not even 2 years. But I'm a data geek. I saw a growth spurt that was going to need a specific solve. And I was ahead of that curve by about 9 months. So a lot of it has to do with right place, right time. But if you don't know dark, you'll never know what light is. That landed. Desmond, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, man, how do I follow that up, right? How do I follow up that, right? Wow, just like make it even easier. I'm joking, but I think contrast is beautiful. And like what your experience right now is just simply contrast, right? Like I told you about the situation with the fucking music outside of my window. You know how I went to bed? I went to bed. I told Ray, I was like, this is beautiful contrast. And even though I wanted to choose violence, I was like, this is beautiful contrast. Because now I'm sleeping like a goddamn rock, right? But the same situation when you're going through growing pains or you're learning a new skill, you're developing a new skill, like obviously there's going to be a lot of contrast. And what's beautiful is that you know obviously what not to do, but you know also how to identify when things are going right. Oh, this don't feel the same. This don't feel the same. This call don't feel the same. Mm-hmm. Wow, this call sound different. This call feel different. Okay, I'm definitely going on the right path because I know what bad feels like. I know what a shitty call feels like. I know what a bad client feels like. I know what a bad fit feels like. This feels like a great fit. And then your energy is going to naturally pick up on it, and you're going to transmute that energy into the call.
There we go. That's the answer.
You're literally just training yourself what you don't want.
GD, MF, and ticket.
Yeah. Training yourself. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful shit.
Thank you guys for that feedback. I mean, man, my mind is like running right now. Because I even realized that, like, because the other client that I spoke with yesterday, I have to send him off a proposal today of, well, not like an in-depth, just like an overview, like, hey, here's for the stuff that we went over, here's the 2 packages that we have. And man, it's like hearing that song and hearing you guys' feedback. It's like I feel something in my chest right now, man. Oh man.
Good.
I don't mean to make this session
Oi,
about
shut up.
me or anything like that.
Shut your fucking pie hole. Mean to make things about you. I'm going to teach you a lesson. This is not giving you coaching or feedback. I'm going to teach you a lesson. You will learn to make things about you. I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt that I would not be where I am if there wasn't a majority part of me that is exceptionally fucking selfish. Everything that I am up to is about me. Like, hands down, no questions asked, non-negotiable. Of course it's about me. Now, this is where you be selfish in the trifecta. Be exceptionally fucking selfish inside of that trifecta. It's a win for me. It's a win for you. It's a win for the world. Don't ever walk away from a gig or a job or a client going, fuck, that is going to make shit worse. Like, that is the worst feeling you will ever have. I hope most people do not ever have to experience that, because it is rare. Most people weed themselves out and split ways before they get that far. But I've completed projects where I've gone, oh, damn, I'm really clear on the fact that this does not serve the world. So be selfish as fuck inside of your trifecta, on top of your moral compass, however you want to look at that. But don't ever be sorry for making something about you.
That's definitely a life shift for me. Just because, I mean, growing up as the middle child, you know, you've always had that, like, it's all as out of sight, out of mind. You were never really the, you know, this parent here, you know, took care, like mom took care of, you know, older brother, you know, dad took care of baby sis. So it's like you're in the middle just figuring out for yourself, and you learn in that process that don't rock the boat, you know, figure it out on your own, or just keep moving along, mouth shut, and just don't bug nobody. So that's definitely a mindset shift for me, because I've never held myself to that standard of, you know, being able to make stuff about me. And I realized that even from this client, regardless of where they're at in their business, it comes down to whether they can afford it or not, you know, and really priming myself to not fall in love with the end result, but just, you know, fall in love with the process of, like you said, like, I'm learning right now who doesn't fit my mold, who doesn't fit, you know, what I'm trying to do, who I'm trying to serve. And I realize that I'm trying to fit pricing within my strategy, based off of their budget, rather than making them fix their budget to what my pricing is. So I'm like, even for like the brand message video, I'm over here like, oh, this can be start off at like 3,500 and we can go from here to here and all. I'm just like, oh. But you charge this other person this other price for the same thing, and you got the results for them. Even if it was it was an organization, it was a school, you know, or it was a different, you know, business, or they were somewhere further along in their business, you know, for all the different ones that I've sold. But it's like, man, like I find myself right now, after hearing you guys speak, like I'm self-sabotaging by trying to, you know, fit something into this mold, like it has to, in order to try to make it work. And that's essentially like discounting. You know, so I'm just, there's a lot of feedback coming my way right now.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yep.
Who's asking for, like, let me ask you this question. Be honest. Are you voluntarily offering to send a proposal or offers, or are they asking for you to send them something?
This last one asked me to send something. He's more of like he's a little bit old school guy. He asked me to send something. I did let him know as far as like pricing somewhat regarding like the brand message video. But overall he wants like pricing for the full package.
All right, man. So in case of like, okay, dude, this is like my zone of genius, bro. This is great. I'm glad that you're getting your feet dirty, because it's like, it's so much easier to give it's so much easier to talk about this when you're actually like in the process and practice of it. It's hard to have a theory conversation about this kind of stuff. So when making the offer, bro, posturing is everything. So have you ever read the book Art of War?
Yes.
Okay. So when Sun Tzu talks about, oh, I love Sun Tzu. I read this book like fucking 24 times. So when Sun Tzu talks about sitting like in terms of like two opposing armies, right? You have one at the top of the hill with the sun on its back, and you have the one at the bottom of the hill that's in a moist condition, right? You have these two armies, they're about to fight. Who do you think is going to win? If they have the same size army uphill with the sun on its back, right? They're running with momentum. The other people are blind. They're probably in the mud a little bit. They're going to get smashed, right? And so when you think about like posturing in sales, it's very important that you have a pull effect than you do have a push effect. A push effect is you're pushing and like it's visibly pushing, like you're pushing the you're pretty much like I hate saying needy, but it's very needy energy. Right? Like I want to sell you something. Like I'm here to secure the bag. It's like trying to walk up to a pretty girl and saying, I want your, like, I want to take you home. I want your number. No, you got to play the game, right? You got to be smooth like butter, right? You know what I'm saying? And so the same thing is in war. Same thing is with in sales in terms of securing the bag. Like it has to be this dance, like you're dancing, right? And so what you do is I'm a big fan of getting on level playing field because right now, if the customer has the high ground and if I have the low ground, I'm going to lose the posture. It doesn't matter how rock solid my offer is if I'm not in the right posturing position to secure, because it's not going to feel right internally. Okay. And so how I personally do this is very step-by-step, very practical, very easy. I ask two fucking questions. Excuse my language. You should beep that out. One, is there anything else you think I should know? Two, where do you want to go from here? That's the most two questions, okay? That's it. They're going to usually say, it's very predictable. It's kind of crazy how predictable this is. Well, what is it that you offer? What is it that you do? Now they're emotionally cracking open like a goddamn nutcracker. Like just woof, they open. Now they're ready to receive what you have to say because no one wants to be pitched. No one, not even people who show up to a car lot wanting to buy a car. They hate being pitched by car salesmen. Like you're here to buy a car. How do you hate being pitched? Just people like don't want to be manipulated or persuaded or like consciously like or forced into anything, especially in Western society, right? Because my freedom, I have the freedom to choose, free will, right? So I don't want someone to impose on my free will, right? So it's important for them to want it as much as you want to give it. And that's a little psychology hack. As soon as they say, well, what do you like? As soon as they ask you that question, what do you offer? What can you do? Now you're going to move into Milton modeling, which is an NLP term. Okay. Milton modeling is high level. The more specific you get in negotiations, the more likely you're going to get disagreement. Right away, you get specific on things that they care about. You don't voluntarily get specific. You create a dialogue. So you stay high level and you give binary options. You're doing a binary option route. Okay, so we can either go this way. Man, you know what? Based on your situation, we can either go this way or we can go that way. Which way do you think makes more sense? We can either do branding, work on strategy, really get clear, or we can go straight into full production, right? Do a holistic strategy. I mean, which one do you think is more in alignment based upon where you are right now? Illusion of choice, free will. Oh, I think, really, man, I don't think I'm really ready for production because I can't afford that. But the brand strategy stuff sounds like, yeah, that sounds like that's something I'm missing. Okay, great. Here's the outline of the brand strategy, not the details, the outline. It's 1 outline, 2 outline, 3 outline, 4 outline, 5 outline, and this desired outcome. Allow them to then ask questions. Well, what does that look like? How does that, you know what I mean? They're going to be, if you frame it right, they're going to like ask it like, okay, well, how does that work? What does that look like? Tell me more about this specific thing. And then you're having a conversation, allowing them to chunk you down and you not voluntarily chunking down with information they don't care about. Ooh, we're getting into some liveness right now. And then after that, your next money question is there anything else that you're looking for? Or is there anything else that we can address? You know, why you want to give, you want to find out what are the little value or upsells or downsells, or, you know what I mean? Like, just make sure that you have no loose ends. And I was like, okay, great.
Not to mention the fact that when you ask, is there anything else that we can address? You will undoubtedly, if they have had a poor experience where they have gotten lost in the mix, they're going to tell you what happened, what they did, what they bought, what happened, why it didn't work, and what they don't like. This gives you like 3 key elements. A, languaging that triggers them. B, what they've already done, the mistakes that they've already made. And C, how they feel things don't work. Now, the last one's the only one that is not necessarily always true.
Yeah, you had a good point there. Josh, you should be figuring out, even before you even get to this point, what they tried to pass. Like, you get to know what they tried to pass before you even get to, is there anything else you think I should know, or anything like that? Like, that's your discovery process. You need to know what they tried, and you need to know how long they've been trying. Time is a very important factor. Time is value.
The only reason that they would give you more information at this point is if they have what we call a dirty little secret. And it's, well, you know, the other thing that happened was I did X, I bought Y, and this is what happened. They'll tell you I call it the embarrassing moment. And it's that moment in every entrepreneur's journey. Like, we all buy shit we don't need, or we have all bought something from an exceptional sales human being that we didn't actually want. What happens then?
I do that once a month.
Right?
Always trying to buy something to get an edge. But yeah, Josh, like, so that's the money, man. And you don't. So this is like dancing. This is like you're dancing, bro. Like, you're holding your posture. You're playing it cool. You're just like, this is fun, right? Like, you're making this about them. You're not going to voluntarily give them a price. You're going to have them ask you for it. And then you're also going to do what's called sticker shock insurance, because it doesn't matter what the price, anything above, honestly, 99, like anything that's $1,000 or higher, unless you're a lawyer or an affluent person, it's going to be a like, whoa, okay. Right. Because if you're not used to spending $3,000, like, often, or doing payroll, then it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not paying payroll or doing major business operation expenses, like, anything in the thousands is going to be like a thought. Like, it's just going to be like, okay, well, is this worth the value? So to help with the sticker shock, I always say it's $1 million. Or Alex Hormozi, shout out to him. He uses this a lot, where it's like, just to warn you, we are not expensive, but it is pretty expensive. I think he actually is. It is pretty expensive. Then he tells them the price, so they're braced for it. Now, either they might be like, "Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it would be," or they might be like, "Oh, okay, well, you know what I mean." Like, they can work through it because they got you know what I mean, the shock factor. So it's a lot of different strategies you can think of. You got to find out what like, you don't need to mirror me or mirror Alex. You got to figure out like, what's the best way for you to be comfortable enough, like, doing that sticker shock insurance. So I always say it, I always say either like it's $1 million, like jokingly, like with joking energy, or I might say, usually I deal with high-level entrepreneurs and I do $100,000 contracts or do $1 million contracts. But based on the case that we just talked about, we can simply just do it for $7,500. See how smooth that was?
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Contrast.
Because I know, so 2 things that jumped out to me so far with what you said. One, and I think maybe I'm trying not to go down because I can go down the overanalyzing
rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole real quick. Or I call it the black hole, because when she's in there, You ain't getting out for at least a good day. A day is like 1,000 years, you know. But she actually asked the woman I had the call with earlier. She actually asked me, where do you want to go from? Like, where do we go from here? I was like, so I didn't know how to handle. I was like, oh, are you referring to the next steps, or like, help me understand what you mean more, just so I can, guide you on the right path. She's like, yeah, like within your process, like what are the next steps? What do we do? And so as I was going through that, that's why I feel like I lost her, because I got into the details of the strategy, meaning like the videos that she'd need for the funnel. And then she started asking me about the price, and I was telling her the price breakdown for each video. And maybe that's where I lost her at. Like I said, I'm not going to jump into that abyss, but she definitely asked me that. That's why I'm like, dang it, man. Like, I didn't even notice that before until you just said that. The second thing is, normally when I talk to people, I tell them like beforehand, like, listen, I'm going to be very transparent with you. We are not the cheapest, or we are not the cheapest, creative marketing agency out there. As far as production and strategy goes, we are relatively on the more expensive side. So if that works for you, we can dive in more, talk more strategy, see what your vision is and how we can, help get you there. What currently lies in the gap. If that isn't okay, then, it's no harm, no foul. I just want to be respectful of your time, and not waste it if we're, kind of stretching this opportunity right now.
All right. You need to throw that part away.
Okay.
Throw that away. You should replace it with, something way more clear and concise, because you're talking yourself out of the deal. That was too many words. Like, it needs to be, like, just say, hey, like, we cost, like, hey, we're pretty expensive, doing work for, let's say, with, you're one of your top customers, we charge X amount of money, but based upon where you are, based on the scope of work, it's this, right? Or like, oh, it's $1 million. I'm joking, but really, usually we work with deals only this size or higher, but in this case, I really want to work with you, and we can do it for this price.
Can you run through that one more time for me? And maybe for the audience?
All right, Josh,
Sure.
Hold on. So you're placing that statement at the top, at the head of a conversation, like right at the beginning, using a tactic that we call like, it's a fresher sales tactic that influences time. You've no business and no reason to influence time. Period. Like, not wanting to waste somebody's time. No, not an option. So that piece needs to come right out of your mental agility and your vernacular. Because what Desmond's saying is just like, chuck it all out of the conversation, period. And when you get to the part up where you're talking price, like, yeah, you can say, no, I'm not the cheapest. And here's where we go with it. But never, ever, ever discuss like your placement in the market at the head of a conversation prior to gaining their trust, getting a buy-in, and understanding what it is they're actually doing.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, dude, don't talk yourself out of the deal. I'm glad that you realize that when you get into the details, so many salespeople or people are trying to sell. That's probably I think it's a tie for pitching. Like, they pitch. And to me, pitching is like, you have a science for a project up and you go through your entire science for a project to this person. From start to finish. Here's my mission statement. Here's all the way to my hypothesis. Here's my data. Here's the conclusion. You're like, what the fuck? Like, this sounds overwhelming. This feels overwhelming. What's going on? Oh, this doesn't feel right. This is not this sounds like a lot of work. Oh, like, I'm so confused. Or you gotta put yourself in their shoes. So like, you got a lot like a sales like, look, sorry, I'm getting excited because this is my shit. This is how you know, these are signs that you know you're in a deep, like you're about to secure the bag, is when it's a conversation. You should be getting buying qualified questions. How does that work? When can I expect that? Where does this fit in all of this? Can you do this? What about
how does
that?
this affect revenue? What's the term length in my first set of results? How quickly can we see growth? How fast can we get this done?
Mm-hmm.
What's the process look like? Oh, how fast can we get this done?
That's the best
I can get
one.
it done tomorrow, depending on how blank of a check you really want to write me.
Yeah. That's Josh. That's your money question. That's the golden question you want to hear from a client. Is how can I get it faster, or how fast can I get it?
Mm-hmm.
Speed.
And when someone asks that question, you don't fucking answer it. You say what Desmond's getting ready to say next.
Man.
Because time is not an option. No, you say, there's like anything is possible. And a lot of this is going to have to do with how we put things together, how fast we can get through the process. You lean on the fact that good business is 100% process based. Lean on that fact, not into it, on it. It is a post that you sit against forever. Good business is about following the rules and not skipping steps. The reason why people are fucked off or have had bad experiences is because they've either worked with people who are extremely easy to bulldoze, not entrepreneurs. People like all the love in the world. Some people are not built to be what we are. So maybe they're easily bulldozed and they like to say yes to people. And so the project doesn't get done because they're trying to make the boss or the clients, oh, but what about this? And what about that? They go off on their tangents. Yeah, nothing gets fucking done when you do stuff like that. But like a true leader will lead the project, not follow it. Like there's lots of things that people will have already experienced when they get to you. If you're somebody's first reach out, they are lucky. But 99.9% of the time, people, you won't be the first person that someone's tried to accomplish X task with. I'm never the first person. If I'm the first person, the answer is like, go get some messy action done. You go there, come back to me later. Because my solution is not a first time around solution. My solution comes only after somebody's learned their lesson. So a lot of that has to do with marketplace. It's so many things. There's hundreds of variables in that. And you just tell them 100% of things are possible 100% of the time. A lot of it will have to do with how this plays out. And that's very specific to each client's situation. And it's something that we go through and we keep tabs on and we talk about. You give, like you reinforce the, I'm here for you and you have my support, and that's it. Because how fast somebody gets through to something, how fast somebody gets their deliverables, and that's human specific. There is so much human error in that. You do not talk about that prior to closing a deal. Once somebody has paid you money, they are way more likely to suck it up buttercup and get their shit done than they are to say, oh yeah, that's no big deal. That's not a problem. You don't know. It's always a problem until it isn't. It's always a problem until they paid for it. Then it's not a problem anymore. Shocker. Desmond, I'm on a good one today.
Man, something in the air today. Man, Josh, let's go, bro. Let's go. Change some lives, baby. Get the win. Man, this is some fun stuff.
Yeah,
dude, you're so close.
I feel like the one tomorrow was definitely going to be like that, because even just looking at what he put down in the discovery form, he's a guy that's social media guy, podcaster, all that stuff. He's I think he's like a business coach or a life coach. Focuses with like entrepreneurs, mindset, all that stuff, and his biggest thing is I want to in the next year, I want to be able to get my YouTube channel up to like 200K for, I think maybe from zero, or from whatever he has right now. It's like 200K followers and subscribers in the next year. I want to get my, Instagram up to like 100,000 followers or something like that within the next year. I'm like,
get him on the pod, bro. Get him on the pod. Come on, get on the pod, man.
Yeah,
so I got a challenge
not
for
until he
you.
signs the contract. Not until he signs the contract.
Yeah, sign the contract.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yo,
for sure.
So I was just joking, but I don't know, Heather might disagree with me here, but
try me.
Something. I here's my personal philosophy on this situation. If this guy seems like he's going to be the one, I would treat this call as a first date and not ask to come in the house the first date. Your goal is to connect deeply, really understand him, like just discover, like really he should be talking 65 of the 70% of the time, and you can literally calculate it using Otter.ai. Like if you put the call recording in Otter.ai, he should be talking 2 times more than you. And you're going to end the call with not an offer, even if you want one. This is posturing, Josh. I'm teaching you posturing. You're going to say, hey, I want to digest everything. I thought this was great, and I see a lot of potential, and I think I really want to work with you. Let me review everything. Let me put something together, and let's like have another call to like kind of go through some specific details on like what it'll look like to work together. So now
that call has to be at least 36 hours later. Minimum, psychologically.
Yeah. I was gonna say 2 days, 2-3 days.
36 hours, no more than 3.
Yeah, 2 days.
Day and a half,
2 days.
no more than 3.
So Friday, boom.
Yep.
So don't make the call and end with, I want to sell you something. You're going to make the call like, I want to connect with you deeply and just have fun. Even if you get into some strategy, like sparring, whatever, like just really connect with them and understand them. And if it's a good fit, then schedule the next call. Can I tell you a little strategy I did once for a savage close? It wasn't savage because I like the guy a lot. Okay, so this is I don't know, this is kind of like a super, I don't know, some people might call this a sleazy sales tactic, but it's used in corporate a lot. Like it's a corporate tactic, and it's called time handcuffs. Okay, so people can pay you in 2 ways, Josh. They can pay you in money or they can pay you in their time, right? When important people keep booking calls with you to go deeper into strategy or deeper into different things with possibilities, every call is like a chip away of the buying wall. I get to the point where I got to the call number 5 with this one guy because we're really trying to figure out how to work with each other, like how to figure this out, and like want to really make, like, not just give them this like this Candy Crusher or this productized offer, but a custom offer that's really like, how can this really work? Right? We met, and call number 5 came along. He was like, Desmond, I'm waiting for the offer, man. Like, I'm just waiting for it. I know it's coming, but I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, you know what? I just want to make sure that I really want to make sure this is a win-win for both parties. And don't worry, the offer's coming, bro. Don't worry. Like, we invested time for no offer to come. But then, we spent so much time together, and we got so comfortable, and so much rapport was built, and it was so clear where we were going that it was no way he was saying no to whatever the offer was, because we got so clear on where we're going. There's so much certainty. So, like, if you're not ready to pitch someone, right? Because it doesn't feel like, I hate to use the word feel, right? Because feelings is more intuition than anything. But like, sometimes keep their time invested, get their time investment, right? Like, or really like keep discovering more, like actually keep asking questions and digging. What about another favorite sales tactic? And this is more disciplined than a tactic, is when just because a customer asks for the order doesn't mean, or asks for the pitch doesn't mean you pitch them.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite line of all time, I just told you this before, was, hey, before we even go there, let me just really understand the bigger picture. Let me I just got to ask a few more questions because I just really want to make sure that I'm sure and we're in line before we even talk about that. Like put their best interest ahead of your pockets. I hate to say that way, but does that make sense?
It's the only way to say it.
Like, because also it's a fulfillment trap too. You don't want to be caught in a fulfillment trap to secure the bag as well. Like, so you're honestly looking out for your own self-interest as well on the back end, right? Even though you want to make money and all this other stuff, but there's nothing worse than having unhappy clients. Nothing more worse than that. It's a pain in the ass, energy drain, opportunity cost, loss. So yeah, bro. So maybe you should try that tactic out. Like, have 2 or 3 calls with people and like turn them into sessions that you get fired up about. Right? Who cares? Like, who cares if you're talking about strategy or giving value? Like, who cares? Just give value. If it's a good fit, if you see a clear path for a long-term relationship, for a raving fan, a raving client, a perfect client, it's worth it, bro. And they're way more likely to give you money than pitching. Because pitching sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is there a way
you should try that strategy?
Is there a posture? I appreciate that. Is there a posturing, or is it a way of posturing if I even say that maybe in the beginning of the call? Like, hey, just so you know, this call is...
No. No.
Okay.
You don't get to pre-frame anymore. It's like you're recording a fucking training video. Like, get off your shit. And I'll tell you, like, for what it's worth, this has a lot to do with the fact that you came from sports. Okay? Because in sports, almost everything is pre-framed. It's pre-framed so that for the people who like to tune out, things are pre-framed so that they don't tune out when they're not supposed to. It allows the reader, the listener, the client, the other person on the line to prejudge the content that's being presented before they get it. If you say, just so you know, on a sales call, again, ever, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah,
just so you know this.
It's like a client saying, what if? When you hear what if, that's anxiety. What if I don't get any clients? What if I don't get any views?
What about that?
What if I run out of money? What if I get
someone won't stop saying that? I say, what if we just don't talk? What if we just decide we're not talking? They go, I don't want that. Well, okay, then stop telling me things that aren't happening.
Yeah. Stop. That's a sign of I usually get really sad, like really blunt in those situations. And like, it's like one of those things, like either you're going to like be on the train or you off the train because I don't got time to babysit. Right.
But you get to get real about trying to structure your conversations to fit a certain, I check this box, I check this box, I check this box. Like, no. I'm gonna use Josh, I'm gonna lay you out right now. I'm really not sorry at all. I'm gonna use a really good example. Not long after we met, you reached out to me and said, what does it look like to work with you and how much does it cost? I waited an entire day to answer your text message. An entire day. And then I was like, that's a loaded question. We can jump on a call and talk about it. And on that call, first call, at what point did we talk about working together? We didn't. I still haven't told you what it costs to work with me. All this scrolling time down the road, and I still haven't told you. Will you pay for it? Yep. Will you wince at it? Probably not. Depends. Some people wince and pay it anyway. That happens. But will I give it to you early? No. I want to make a sex reference so bad it's super funny, but don't get ahead of yourself. You're trying to structure your conversations so that you make it from A to B. Talk to these people the same way you call and talk to your best friend about what you're up to. The same way you would call and talk to your girlfriend about how practice was. The same way that you would call and talk to your mom when you failed the test. Just talk to people. Listen for what is really actually going on, because the shit people put in their pre-sales call forms, yeah, neat. I don't even have one anymore. For like 25 billion reasons. Mostly because I fucking hate reading them. I think they're boring. I also think they're full of shit. People write down or people preface what they want you to hear. People don't hire people like us because they want to tell us what they want us to hear. They hire us to solve a problem. So listen for the problem and start walking them towards the fact that a solution is a non-negotiable. And then call Desmond and he'll give you the rest of the instructions.
Just don't ask to come in the house on the first date. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't even
dating. This is dating in the 20s.
Yeah.
Get ready to ask somebody to have iced tea on the porch. Get ready to go for a walk around the garden.
Yeah, picnic in the park. The next time you got to go on a few dates, right?
Get ready to have dinner with their family before you ever take them out to the movies.
That's nah, girl, we grabbing coffee.
Grabbing coffee.
I gotta get
Starbucks
to know you I gotta get to know you before I actually invest in the dinner. What do you mean?
And it's nothing better than when they want it and you don't give it to them. That's even better. It's like, we could talk about that, but you're posturing like I'm still feeling you out. This ain't about you feeling me out. I'm feeling you out, right? Like with like curiosity, like you get where I'm going. Like I'm feeling you out, dude. Every sell over $7,000 I did, I used that frame. Let me see if you qualify.
I love telling people that.
Hey, let me see if you're a good fit. Like, I don't know, like, are we aligned? Right? Like, which is
now,
true.
There's a catch there. There's a catch. Now, Desmond and I have something in common. We're both NLP practitioners. Okay. So if you don't know what to look for, you can definitely sign on a client's agent. It's kind of like dating. You date somebody the first 3 months, you're dating their agent. Same idea. They'll put their best foot forward. And you have to know what to look for. So feel somebody out, but make it about truly solving the problem for longevity, a bigger perspective, for a better why. Not just like, yeah, I know you need a video, and like, I could just make you a video, or we can talk for a little bit and we can determine like the best reason why we should make you a video, what you can use it for, how you can repurpose it, why it would matter to do it, take an extra 2 weeks and do it the long way versus the short way, because the back end value add that you'll get out of it will be 10 times. Doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that sound more effective? And no, I don't know anybody in their wrong mind that would say, no, that doesn't sound effective. I just want it now. If they say that, you should hang up the phone anyway. But it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I get your come from bigger than simply what I came on the line for. Your come from always has to be bigger. Gotta be bigger than the shit that they've already made up in their head that they need. That's when we really are on one today. Dang.
What a raw episode, right? I think we're going to put the ... at the end of this episode to be continued, right? I love these kind of episodes.
We're going to continue this episode on Friday after Josh's call.
I think it's tomorrow, right? Yeah, we're going to
continue this episode on Friday after Josh's call.
Oh yeah. On the bag, secure the bags. Yeah, the Ronald McDonald bags. Give me those Golden Arch McNuggets. Let's get it.
I appreciate the feedback from you guys, though. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Free game, man. Free game for the audience. I mean, stuff that we love, so it's fun stuff. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. You should record the calls too.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Yeah.
I even recorded the one from earlier today. I just realized that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, record all your sales calls. You should be reviewing them. You should be watching your own fucking sales calls, bro. Straight up. Hear yourself. Watch your body language. Watch their body language. It's important.
Yep. On the backside, you can totally watch it and you can be 100% focused on just your body language, taking notes, watch the video again, be 100% focused on them, take notes, lay them next to each other, and be like, oh, fuck. The shit you see it's astronomical. Bananas.
Mm-hmm. I think another important thing to when you watch calls, like the number one thing I look for personally, only reason why I will watch when I review salespeople's calls when I'm doing training, the number one thing I look at is did either one of did the salesperson and the prospect, did they answer each other's questions? Like if the salesperson asked the question, did the person actually answer that question, or did they like avoid the question? Did they not understand the question? And then how did the salesperson respond to them not answering that question? Ooh, hopefully that led us a reason for that. That's one. And then the other, and it's also vice versa. So some salespeople or some guys misinterpret a buying qualifying question with a objection. So like if the client asks you a question at the end about the offer, how did you answer that question? And usually those two things will tell you, are you securing the bag or not? Like, are you guys even on the same level of can you guys even effectively communicate? Right? Because if you can't effectively communicate answering each other's questions, then how the hell are you going to effectively agree that this is the right step? Like mutually agree. So hopefully this landed, guys. This is probably this is definitely the most fire highlight. This is like a little secret behind the scenes, Mr. Dixon here, okay? It's a little behind the scenes. So like, are you effectively communicating with the question answering? It's very subtle. It's super intriguing when you rewatch calls. You're like, dude, like, did you even like hear what this guy said? Right? Oh, it's crazy. But I think that was a good episode, guys. It was pretty long, but oh well, it's okay. If you made it to the end, guys, congratulations. I think this is like what episode? Let me look. Episode
18, 19.
Nah, we're on episode 14. This is episode 14. Wow.
Dang.
Wow, we're at 14 episodes in. Want to say thank you for coming along with this journey. It's been amazing. If you found that this episode was, we covered a lot of really deep things around sales. If you find this would be super valuable for someone in your network, please share it to them, your email lists, your social media lists, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Don't forget to send us a rating, subscribe, send us a shout out. Email us your questions as well. You can email us at team@campfirecapitalism.com if you have any questions, any topics you want us to cover. If you want to come on the show, go on campfirecapitalism.com and request to be a guest. But it's been really great playing with you guys here today. And we look forward to episode 15. Cheers.